Hi, good morning. Today we're looking at what is probably going to be the final form of this cargo hauler that I've been playing around with. I think the last ship uh, had 11,200 cargo, and I think this one is around 16,200. That's because I have the, what is it called? Buoyant Insulators now installed, and that allowed me to greatly increase the cargo. So the previous ship, the whole idea was it was modular and it could come in and drop off its cargo pod here and then take off without it. This one doesn't do that. I decided to just go more traditional. I mean, it's fun as an idea, but in the game it has no practical application. So I think one of the complaints I got was it didn't have a lot of hab space, the previous ship. So I turned the hab, or excuse me, the spine down the middle of the ship into basically a big hab. And I stored like the reactor and the grav drive, the grav drive and some of the other stuff down in there. But this is the ship. As you can see, it looks a little different because I changed out the cockpit. I didn't want to use that Cabot bridge. I was trying to get away from that because it just looks weird. You know, you always get the frog
Anything I can help you? Got anything you
uh,
need to offload? Sure. How about it?
comparisons, and it doesn't really, I don't know, fit very well with, like, it always sticks off a little bit, you know. I don't know. It's just not very pretty in my opinion. It's functional and it works, but honestly, the ship was beginning to look a little bit like a cruise liner. So I went back to this traditional like nose cone section. I've used this before in other builds, and it works really good. This is a flip glitched build. It's just a single piece right here that I did a flip glitch on. And other than that, the ship is completely vanilla. Flip, flip, and then escape, and it fits right there. It's because it's got these two little gun ports that stick down right here. It's just barely goes inside the thing there. It's like a millimeter. So I used a flip glitch, and whatever. I could have used a different cockpit, like the Taio cockpit or something, and that would work just fine. And it doesn't interfere with this piece. So the ship could be 100% vanilla or flip glitch free if you really didn't want to do that. But yeah, other than that, the ship is pretty standard. I used something like 34, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, 16, 32, 33. Yeah, 34 of these Stormax 70 cargo holds. These cargo holds have a much higher cargo or mass to cargo ratio than anything else in the game. So if you want your cargo as high as possible, these are what you want to use. I think some of the people were complaining online that I didn't mix it up, you know, because if you use these, oops, past it. You know, you could use a whole bunch of these like different storm axes and different colors and stick them all in there, you know, to make it look like a real shipping container ship. Then you could do that, but you're going to lose a lot of cargo. So, or you could just paint these different colors, I guess. I'm too lazy to do that. So, as far as the weapons, I'm using 4 of the PBO 300 auto alpha beams, 6 Vanguard Obliterator auto projectors, and 4 CE 59 missile launchers. I like these missile launchers because they're flat, they're white, they go good with the ship. I was really working hard to keep the weapons off the top of the ship, and with the missiles I didn't have a choice, but they actually don't look bad the way they're set up because they're super, you know, thin. Because if you put these guns up on the top on some of these mount points, they just poke out. They're like really obvious. So I wanted to keep the ship a little, you know, kind of pretty looking. So I mounted the 4 PBO 300s on the chin, and then with the auto projector, obliterator auto projectors, I can get them with a Horizon weapons mount. You can get one right under these braking engines. There's 4 braking engines, and you can stick one gun, or you can stick the weapons mount right here under it, and you can get one gun right there. It won't go on the top, but it will go on the bottom. So you can do 4 because there's 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the last 2 are hidden in the drive section. And I got them in a Damo Spine C on both sides, right here. 1, or 5 and 6. And then on top of the spine C, I mounted the advanced scrap unit. And yes, you can fire through the ship. It doesn't matter as long as they're mounted properly. You can put guns on the sides and they can fire through fuel tanks, you know, whatever. You can mount engines up here and put stuff behind the engine and the engine will just fire through it. Like the game doesn't, as long as the item is mounted properly, it doesn't care. So that was a compromise I made. I didn't have any more hard points. Like I said, I did not want to stick any of the guns up on top of the ship. So that's what I came up with. One of the things that when I get into these ship builds and you're trying to get your cargo as high as possible and you start to make compromises and then you make more compromises and you really get into diminishing returns. You're starting to make huge compromises for the smallest gains. And one of the compromises I always end up making is this shield generator on previous ships. I think I always used the Bulwark shield generator. And I really wanted to get away from that in this build because I wanted this is a Class C ship. I wanted the most powerful Class C generator for the shields, and this is it. And that gives you 1600, but it weighs a lot more, so you got to factor that in, you know. I'm at the module limit, so I really couldn't add much more anyways, even if I had more stuff to play around with. So yeah, I can only add one more structural piece, and then you hit the limit. So if you don't know what the module limit is, that means you can add, when you're building a ship, you can use up to 130 pieces. And then after that, it locks you out. So, I don't know how they came up with that, but whatever. If you want to have the highest cargo, and you're not using mods, these SAL 6830 engines are really the only way to go. So, they have such a high engine thrust, and you can have 6 of them because they're only 2 power each. It's kind of frustrating when you spend like a week tweaking a ship, trying to get every last cargo out of it that you can. And then I watch a video, and it's just somebody with like a Dark Star mod, and they put one engine on the ship, and they have something like 30,000 cargo, and they still have 100 mobility, and that just makes me want to throw my hands up, like, well, damn, you know. So, but for us vanilla builders or non-mod builders, then I don't know. Does that go there? No. Sometimes like I said, I get frustrated, but it is what it is. Like modding is a pretty big thing. Oh, that goes back here. So I haven't got into mods yet. I've been trying to avoid it. Some of the mods look pretty cool. I do like them, but I don't like it when it increases the base stats. Like I'll see people with one engine and it's increasing their speed to like 600, and the shield will be at like 8,000 or something. It's like you might as well have a mod that has a button you push every time you see an enemy ship and the ship just blows up, because it's like there's no skill left at that point. Alright, how do we want to do this? The ship is a little weird as far as the center. Oh, and the ladders. The thing with the ladders. Oh my god. I wanted to flip my table over a few times. Because you can make one little change. Oh, look, I'll just put a little, like right here. I was going to put another storeroom right here. I was like, oh, I'll just add another storeroom because, you know, it's got a spot for it. And then the ladders, man, it just turns the whole damn ship into like this Bermuda Triangle inside where nobody's ever seen again after they go in. And it's crazy. So as it is now, I have a single, when you come in, it's a ladder that goes all the way to the top of the ship. And then when you get to here, it's another ladder that goes all the way to the bottom of the ship. So it's like you can run the length of the ship from anywhere. Like you can come into the bottom and then go straight up to the top, or you can come in here and go up to the top. So both ladders just run the entire length of the ship, which is, like I said, it was a colossal pain in the ass to get it to work like that. Let me move this down out of the way. was here, that was there, that was there, that was there, there. These go up under that, before I forget. It's always fun when you build a ship and then you're trying to take it apart in the shipbuilder and you can't remember how it goes back together. So, yeah. There's so many of these storm axes. You know, it's kind of, I don't know, disappointing that they made these things like double the efficiency of, well, it's not quite double, but it's up there, of anything else, because then it's like, well, then everybody's going to use these. It's the same with the auto projector, obliterator auto projectors. There's really no reason not to use them, even though they're a Class A weapon, because they're just completely overpowered. So, so many of these things. I guess I could have just paused the video and taken this thing apart, but I'm getting lazy. I'm barely competent when it comes to making videos. Like, I'm surprised I was able to figure out how to upload it to YouTube. Let's take this front off first. Oh, I guess that was the only thing holding that on. Yeah, let's do it like this. I guess we'll just do the front section first. So all it is this, the bottom here is 2 of these NG-20 landing gears, flanked on either side by the 120 LD landing bay. That's the Deimos one. You can get it here in New Atlantis, and it can be forwards or backwards, and we got it facing forwards. And then this Stroud mess hall, 2x3, and it just slides in just like that. And then on both sides of the landing bay, like I said, this landing bay can go forwards or backwards. We're going to have it facing forwards. That way this sloped edge is going forwards, and it lines up perfectly with these Deimos bellies in their forward position. They can also be facing backwards. So you're going to face it forwards on either sides, and they just hook it up to the top of this mess hall. And then we mounted the 4 PB0300 auto alpha beams to the chin here, just like that, using a Horizon weapons mount. And then I just capped it off with 3 portholes on the floor, on the front here. For the top piece here, like I said, originally I was trying to make these storerooms, but it messed up the ladders royally. Like, you'd have to come up here, come in this side, go that way. It was all messed up. So I ended up just, you can use anything. I don't know why I didn't use a Stroud mid piece. I didn't even realize these were cowlings until just now. But yeah, you can, normally I would have used a piece like this right here, the Stroud mid bracer, and stuck it in there. But anyways, I got a Stroud cowling, and I just got it so that the attach point is facing outward so I can mount the gun. Same on this side. And then this is primarily a Stroud build, but you can't. So with the Stroud storerooms, they're either port or starboard. So if you put this on, you'd come in and you go on this side, but there's no attach point on this side on the Stroud storerooms for some reason. So I used a Taio one anyway instead, which ended up liking better anyways because it's a lot cleaner inside. I don't know why. I hate dirty habs. I don't like it when they're dirty inside. And I call this like the command module. You know, this is where the all the bridge and all the, like, where you first enter the ship and everything. And then this will be the spine right here, where I've got all the habs, the reactor, grav drive, all that stuff. This is the first time I ever used one of these double-decker Nova things. All right, so as far as the nose, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 of these Stroud Cap A's, 2 of these Stroud Nose Cap C's, and 2 of these Stroud Nose Cap B's. So let's start from the top. Use a Stroud Nose Cap A, Stroud Nose Cap B, a Stroud Cap A, then a Stroud Nose Cap C, the other C. Then the cockpit's going to be a Viking CP220, and it'll just go right there. And then another Stroud Cap A, Stroud Cap A, and remember this doesn't fit because of the stupid gun things there. So we're going to take off the conduction grid, put that there, flip, flip, release, and now it fits. I'm just going to put the conduction grid under the chin, and I got the comm spike up on top. Now that we have that set up, we can just slot it right onto there like that, and that makes up the forward part of the ship. Now as far as the spine, I'm using an SF40 sheared flow reactor. You get these at you can't buy these at the Freestar Collective ports. You got to be at the UC ports. So come over to New Atlantis and you can buy these. But this is the most powerful reactor you can get. It gives you 40 power. Stick it right there just like that. Just below it, you're going to use a Nova Galactic double decker 3x1x2. Then on top, you're going to use this Stroud companionway 1x1 right there. Then a Stroud all-in-one berth on top. A Stroud all-in-one berth 2x1B right there. And then in this little cavity here, we're going to put our Apollo GV300 grav drive. This is the first time I've ever had to use this grav drive. I've never had my cargo high enough to where it pushed my jump range down below 30 light years. So kudos that at least there's a grav drive that can, you know, push this much cargo up to 30 light years. Because on the Class A builds, it's really easy to get your cargo too high, even with 100 mobility, and then your jump range will be stuck at like 26. So, and then in the back here, we're going to hook up a Stroud mid bracer right there, and then a Nova Galactic 20 landing gear in its wide configuration. These can be middle, or that's forward, middle, and then wide. So we're going to do 2 NG20s in their wide configuration on both sides. And then on this Stroud mid bracer, we're going to put this Deimos Spine C. Excuse me. I think I have avian bird flu. And then we have 2 Vanguard Obliterator autoprojectors hooked up to the sides here. And on the back, an advanced ship scrap unit. Yeah. And then, move this stuff out of the way. For the drive unit here in the back, make sure that this does go in there like that. There should be 2, yeah, I see what I'm doing. These shouldn't really be like that. Alright, so this should go like this. Yeah. So you take your Stroud mid bracer and then you're going to stick it there, and it's going to be just over the top of this spine C. And then another Stroud mid bracer is going to go right there. I wonder if I could put another hab there. Bet you I could. I didn't even think of that until I just took the ship apart and looked at it. And then on both sides, you're going to have a Stroud or a Stormax 70 cargo holds. And then down here, like that, you're going to have your fuel tanks. These are going to be 2 600T HE3 tanks. And then you can't put the, that's why I left these up here, because these don't attach, because there's no attach points on the top of these fuel tanks. And then right here, we're going to put a buoyant insulator on top of an equipment plate so we can mount it here inside. We're going to put it right there just like that. To the top of the ship, how do we do this? Let's do this first. We're going to use 2 of these Stroud cowling, 1 LAs. And they're going to be on the sides. Taper off with these Stroud caps. They're obviously designed to go with these things. And then we'll do a, that shouldn't be in there like that, sorry. A Stroud control station 2x1, right there. And then a Stroud companionway 1x1. Yeah, right there. And then a all-in-one berth 3x1, right there. And then we can cap off the, I guess they, yeah. I guess you have to put those on first. So you're going to use 2 of these Stroud cap A's, like that. And they're gonna, these are going to be facing forwards. Basically, I have these turn like this one's going to be facing backwards, and these are going to be facing forwards. Something's not right. That should be up like this. Sorry. So you're going to have 4 of these Stroud cap A's on the top here facing each other. And then on the back you're going to have these Stroud cowling 1 LA's. Just like that. And then right under these Stroud cowlings you're going to use 2 of these Nova bracers just like that. That's what we're going to hook our braking thrusters up to. I guess we can hook up our engines now. So we have 6 of these SAL 6830 engines. And then we had a little connection piece here, so I just put a Hope Tech nose B aft, and I just stuck it right there. I'm gonna have to play with that. I wonder if I can get another hab in here. Maybe a captain's quarters would be nice, and just stick it right there instead of these 2 mid bracers. And because these 2 mid bracers are 10, and hab is only 8, that would save another 2 mass. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that right now though. I'll play with it later. As far as these Stroud, or excuse me, these are Nova braking engines. I really, and sometimes I get hung up on different things, and I really wanted 4 of these things because I just like the way they looked on the outsides. I don't know if anybody ever watches Babylon 5, but there's a ship called the Nova Dreadnought, I guess, and it's got these big guns on the side. It just reminds me of these pulse cannons that they have on the sides. Now we can hook up our big landing gears here to the sides. Like that. And that will go right there. So when you come up through the bottom, yep, it goes straight up to the top. And that's where you come in from both sides. So it's one ladder all the way down to the bottom. And then inside here is a little bit of a cavity, so we're going to hook up 2 of these 200 cm ballast cargo holds, just like that. And these will go under each braking thruster. I was saying earlier, there's just a small little spot. Just enough room to slide those in. As long as they're mounted on the bottom, you can't put them on the top. And then there's 2 more up here. There's one right there, one right there, there, and the 4th one. And then the other 2 guns are mounted down in here on that spine. So now you can see the ship is, put the assurance shield generator We'll just stick it up on the top somewhere. It doesn't really matter. Let's stick it right there. Now, all we have are a crap ton of these StormX 70 cargo holds. And this is what the ship looks like when it's not loaded. Yeah. So it's just a matter of loading all this stuff up. And I can't really, like I said, I can't make the ship any larger because I've hit the module limit. So unless I go in and change the module limit, which I'm not going to do, this is just going to have to be as high as I can get it. I could get the cargo probably up a little bit higher, but it would, you'd have to make so many sacrifices on like the shielding and the weapons and the amount of fuel it carries. It's like I said, you really start to make too many compromises for just really small amounts of cargo gain, and it's totally not worth it. Ship's now nominal. 4,275 is the mass limit. Actually, it's not because of that buoyant thing. You can get one more mass, maybe two. I'm not sure, but I think it's just one more. And you can see I'm still at 100 mobility. Normally 4,276 would put me at 199, but you can get at least one, maybe two more mass in there before that goes to 99. But that's my gimmick with my ships is always 100 mobility. And because I feel like I'm going to break my wrist every time I'm in space combat and I'm trying to turn and the ship is just sluggish. So I don't like to do that. 16,240, so that's my new record for a ship with 100 mobility by far. And it's because of that buoyant insulator. It reduces the ship's mass by 20%. But other than that, I've made the ship as strong as I can. This is actually a very completely useful ship, like in combat, and it has good has space inside, most powerful shields. I didn't compromise, on anything. A lot of fuel, really a lot more fuel than I needed, but whatever. It always drops my thing off right there on the ledge. So you come in, when you go up, you come into the dining facility here, and you can just go straight up to the top. Or you can come into this new Nova thing that's like the double-decker. You can come in here downstairs. There's a industrial workbench down here. And the other ladder also goes up all the way to the top. So it's got easy access. Go out the ship. Let's just start from the front. I guess that's kind of confusing. Oops. So deck one, like I said, is just this double decker and the dining hall here. I guess that's just the one by one here. Yeah, because that's the one I was going to try to put two more cargo or storage tabs, and it just jacked up the ladder. This ladder just went away. So I got these two tile storage units on the sides here. Get the cockpit back here. And then if you go up to the top, it runs down the length of the ship. And you got all your this is the control station, so you can get your crew members up to 8. And then the rest is just living space. And if you look down, this is the second ladder. It goes all the way down to the bottom of the ship also. Damn it. So this, basically I just have it all stacked up as living space. I didn't really configure it for anything else. Yep. Oops. So should have gone up into the cockpit. Oop. Oh, damn it. Who uses ladders, right? Just boost. So the cockpit is actually not the top deck. It's the second to the top, or second to the thing here. So I like these cockpits from Stroud. They're really clean looking. These gears rotate when you take off, so that's kind of cool. See how they rotate? I like that. Why don't you just grab jump into orbit? I mean, is there something that prevents you from using the grav drive on the ground? If we go into the ship now that we're in space, you can see that my cargo is now 25,577. That's with just my skills increasing it. I don't have Samco on board, so that'd be another 10% if Samco is on board. I don't know if that 10% is only the base cargo or if it's the total of this, so I'll have to play with that later and figure it out. 2880 on the shields because I got that buff too. As far as the reactor power, I've got all the buffs for starship designs and piloting. But this is it. And get outside and take some glamour shots. Oops. So this is it. Like I said, it's not modular like the other ships were. I wanted to just, you know, like I said, it's a fun gimmick, but it doesn't have any function in the game. So this is a more practical ship for somebody like you have a lot of hab space inside. You can configure it in different ways. But yeah, new record, 16,000 cargo for a base level cargo for a ship that still has 100 mobility. I'll have to do some searching online. I've never seen anybody else make them this big, you know, without using mods. It is frustrating, like I said, when you spend all this time trying to eke it out as much as you can, and then I see ships with like 80,000 cargo with one engine, and they have 100 mobility, and you're just like, what the hell? So it is what it is. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.